If you don't fight me and you trust me, though the belt will technically touch your bottom, you won't feel the belt technically touch your bottom. You've been disciplined, and I'm off free. And you don't feel a thing. I mean, I thought that was brilliant. And he looked at me like I was crazy. I said, Jonathan, trust me. Though it technically will touch your bottom, you won't feel it. Therefore, you don't have to do all this stuff, flailing stuff. And I'm sick, and I can, move on. He goes, he looked at me. I said, is it a deal? I said, Jonathan, is it a deal? He shook his head, yes. He didn't have any options. I think he thought I was crazy. He goes and sits back on the bed, and I get this window, and I come out, and I go, Jonathan, okay, you remember our deal? He goes, yeah. And I said, though it's technically going to touch you, it's not really going to be felt. Just remember that. And all of a sudden, I knew it was coming. I just laid him over me, and I saw the trembling. It began in his legs. It just started moving up. And all of a sudden, he took both hands and grabbed his tush. And he said, Dad, have mercy. Have mercy. I go, oh, Jonathan, we had a deal. He goes, Dad, have mercy. But wait, I knew I was in a moment. Here's why. I'd always taught my sons, I'd heard Mike say this before, and I'd taught my sons that when they'd done something really bad, I ask them, what do you deserve? And kids, they try to impress me so that their real punishment isn't given as hard. And they go, well, just take away all my toys. Now, what do you deserve? I'll be on restriction for a month. And I say, well, that may be what you deserve, but you know what I'm going to give you? I'm going to give you mercy. You see, mercy is when you deserve to get something, but you don't. You deserve punishment, but you don't get it. I'm going to give you mercy. Do you know why I'm going to give you mercy? Because he gave me mercy. You see, I had done everything wrong, and he forgave me at the cross. And I'd always offered it, and then we'd go out and get ice cream or do something fun. But I never had him ask me for mercy. And I knew I was in a divine moment. And I looked at him, and I said, Jonathan, are you sorry? He goes, yeah, Dad, I'm sorry. I go, you know your mom. This is her carpet. I said, are you really sorry? He goes, I'm really sorry. I said, will you do it again? He goes, no, sir. I said, well, here's the deal. And my heart was suddenly struck. And I said, here's the deal. If I have mercy on you, I get to hold you till I'm done. He looked at me like I was crazy. In fact, I didn't even know why I said it. I was in a divine moment. I said, I get to hold you as long as I want because I needed a breakthrough with my son's heart. Have you ever been in that place where you need a breakthrough with your son or your daughter's heart? I mean, you know what that's like as a parent. You need a breakthrough. You need them to know how you really feel. I said, I get to hold you till I'm done. He shook his head. And I went over and I unplugged the phone. I locked the door. I knew everything in hell would try to keep this moment from happening. I locked that door and I sat him right on my chest and I leaned back. And for the first couple minutes, he was like, he couldn't settle in because he didn't know whether to truly trust that mercy. He didn't know to truly trust my heart. But after about 5 minutes, it happened. After about 5 minutes, I felt the release, just whew. And suddenly he trusted, and he just laid there, and I just held him, and I began to weep. Because the Lord spoke to me, and he said, Alan, You try so hard. And all I've wanted you to do was trust my mercy and let me hold you till I'm done. You work so hard to get so little. I've longed for you to just rest in my mercy until I'm done with you, Alan. I want to make you a trophy of grace. I just began to weep. And after about, I don't know how long it was, I got up. And I took Jonathan and the family. We were leading a small group. And I took him to the small group. I went to take him down to where they were watching the children. And he wouldn't let go of my hand. And he said, Dad, can I sit with you? And he sat with me the whole 2-hour small group meeting. That was frankly boring. I was leading it. And as he's holding his hand, he wouldn't let go. And then probably 2 weeks later, I remember I came home and he said, Dad, he said, would you do that hold me thing again? And suddenly it struck my heart. We don't understand the transforming power of mercy. We don't know how to cooperate. And I realized how joyous extending mercy was. I realized how part of God's, the Father's heart, extending mercy is, and how Jesus loves it. I wish I'd understood earlier. I want to pray for you. If you go, I'm that one who's always worked so hard and got so little. My zeal didn't get me where I thought. I want a living encounter with the mercy of God. I want to receive His mercy, and I want my heart to be expanded. I want to go on a journey of having faith in God's mercy. I want it to save me. I want it to cleanse me. Do you know who Jesus revealed Himself first after the resurrection to? That little girl, Mary Magdalene, the prostitute. He could have showed up to Caesar, or he could have showed up to Pontius Pilate and went, guess who? What is truth? I mean, he could have really messed with people. You know who he wanted to show up to? That lovesick little girl who had experienced his mercy, and now she loved much. When God's looking at you, you might be counting yourself out because of your history.